We're going to have this go here. Grandfather is grandfurther, grandma is karma. And you may not get that, because when your mother has you, they always have this saying that people look for someone that looks or reminds them of their mother. And that's not really the fact. They don't want to date their mother. They just love their mother unconditionally and don't necessarily want to have sex with them. It's just people have this disturbed thought that even that's not wrong. If we were in a world where we loved each other and didn't think of sex as anything but a way to procure or to reproduce or to have pleasure. But in that way, that's why mother, father don't do it, or mother, son don't do it that way, because it's more of a sexual bond that you feel intimately. So instead, when mother has a son, it's like a piece of her karma, that her leftover stuff that she didn't accomplish. That's why we say, I want you to go out there and do what I never did. I want you to experience what I never had. That's them coming from a divine place, talking from their heart, with their heart mind. So, like in my case, through my divine family, like I had Grandma Waldemarson, which is a K laying down. A W is a K laying down. My mom's name is Kathy. She's a K standing up, which is a W standing up. She's a woman. My brother Mike was a male who is the third child of he's a fourth child, which is 1 + 3, which makes 13. So he was an M, laying down, stand it back up by itself, and it's a 3. So he was the third recognized son. There it goes 3 with that point in between. There is the line with the 1, and then there's me for 4. So there's that. But my mom, with her kinetic energy, and K being my brother Brian's middle name, instead of finding someone like his mom, he found someone with the name starting with an M upside down like his mom, and with a name sounding like his brother, Michelle, like Michael. Now people may say, oh, it's just a coincidence. There are no coincidences. You are patterns and echoes in such a way, like a pebble in a pond. When I was Bruce Lee trying to tell people about the ripples in the pond, that's what I meant. Not Dan, but I. So like when I was doing that, I said stuff like, you follow that pattern and you understand that all patterns go to where they're going to go without anything because of nature's law. And that's what I was trying to get you to say when I said Luke. L, light. Unanimous, kinetic energy. That's law. Miller, one who is at the mill. The mill is where you do things of your sort. Law in a mill would be a lawyer. Guess what Luke Miller is? A lawyer. I want to break down Bart and Bert too, because that just came out. And it's so magic. It's so magic, dude. No one can tell me this isn't magic when it just comes out, because it's not me at that point. It's I at that point. And I'll finish this real quick. Bart Simpson. B-A-R-T. A body, art. Whatever we're going to do. Bert. A body, unanimous recurring things, but he had the time to actually look it over and really use his mind. So he went from Bart to Bert. And simp is a simpleton. Son. And then you have gold, which is the opposite of a simpleton. And you have opposite of son, man. So it's Bert, gold man, and Bart, simp son. I made that up in a divine place. And Dan, me, is here to say it to people so that they can understand where they are, so they can get their heart mind together and start loving people. That's why his whole family is not just divine beings. You all are. But he can say this to his family so they can see where they stick in the whole thread. And if they look into it themselves, Dan's not going to take the time to sit around and fucking figure everything out for everybody. Who would do that? Especially when they don't believe you. They want you to prove it instead. Prove it. I just did. Over and over and over again. Billions of lifetimes, billions of civilizations I've died just to do this as Dan. And you're doing it too, but you're going to die and come back because you're not ready to give up on this human life. But the next one is better. It's not that human beings aren't going to exist anymore. It's just that we aren't going to consider ourselves just that. We'll know that's just a pattern in symbols. It doesn't mean anything. We aren't human beings, but we live on this planetary game board. It's not a game at all. That's why I live between the game lands. 2 game lands. I'm in between 2 lines. Just like I said, every subject is between 2 lines and 2 hands of God. Don't give me that I'm not right. It's not a coincidence. It's not a fucking coincidence. It couldn't be. Not everything in my whole life, and not everything in everything you've ever heard in your life, because my whole life as the I is everything everyone's ever done, and more. I've lived so much more than this. Just join me so we can do something better. People complain about it but don't want a solution. The solution is standing right here in front of you. Sitting right here next to his son Xavier, who his center is of aviar, because aviary is air, spirit, nature, reoccurring. His center is God reoccurring. Did you know that? Center, aviar. You are the center of spirit. And that's why you understand me. If that's not true, then why is it that you're the only one out of 6, out of human symbol, 6, and the third son that listens? Even though Matt may have been adopted, we're not going to get into more of that kind of stuff, but we have earth families, not blood families. Me and Matt are blood more than blood. We've been through this many times, and I'm trying to help him get back into this true spirit, because I've saved him every time. I'm here to help him every time. And every time we come through it, he does this in a different way, but he does this. Matt was the Cain that slew me. I've seen Matt kill me. I've seen you kill me. But as those characters, those energies through all of us. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means that that is a possibility. But in this time, space, earth world, I guarantee you that is not a possibility. You would not kill me, my children would not kill me, and I'm still not all the way concluded that I
want to cry and scream when I think about you dying, so I would never want to be the one to inflict that pain.
Yeah, and the only reason that anybody that loved me would do it is because it hurts them too much to not let go of their ego. And who is the only person that I know in my family that would be hurt too much to let go of his ego? My brother Brian, who was one of my best friends my whole life and now says I'm full of bullshit when I'd have no damn reason to lie to him. And if you are listening to me and you love me, and I'm saying me as in Dan, and you know that I, the channel, that you may not call God because you'll feel like that's a big, powerful word, which it's not. It is a powerful word in our language.
But that's where it is. It's a powerful word.
It's a powerful word. And it's in a world. And we take words literally. And then we define them as that. It's a war of the worlds. Your words of literal definition and my words of literal definition. That's what a war of the worlds is. And if you don't like it, shove it up your ass and grow up a pair of balls and listen. Because I love you guys too much to let you be stupid the rest of this life. Because you have another one. But if the next one gets affected, just like I was trying to say this is important. Seeds grow. And if you don't treat it right after it starts growing, it deteriorates. It might come back the next year, but you'll see it and be like, oh, they didn't do so well last year. They might not do so well this year. And guess what? You tell it what it's going to do in your mind. You don't have to go over and walk over and talk to it. Hello, tree. It helps. It does help, especially if you treat them well. But you can do it in your mind from a faraway place. You are everywhere. And people talk about that in science, but they don't really know what the hell it means. They're like, quantum reality is a string theory, and blah, 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 blah. That's me. I put that in mind so people could start saying the syllables, so that people's minds could interpret the syllables. And then I put Dan, I gave my divine essence, put it in Dan, so that he could actually show the symbol key. I'm the skeleton key, our bone key. Why is it called skeleton key? Because the skeleton is bones. Your bones are the minerals that remember your past. It's the key. So I actually have the key to that, because the key to before the bones is the sounds. Before solid was sound. I don't want to get too much into it because it gets weird, and I'm not full of shit. I'm so full of the only knowledge there's ever been, and everyone's been distorted by the knowledge and wisdom that is around from doofuses that think they're smart. Like, if somebody has a higher IQ than me, or than, when I say me, I'm talking about Dan. Like, when someone has an higher IQ than who I, through Dan, would be being called, and they would say, you don't know what you're talking about. That's insulting what the power of their life is. If I say God, then they get offended. But they would be offending God. They'd be offending whatever they call their God.
See, there was a guy that I had met at work, and he said that IQ, because I had told him mine, he said, well, remember, IQ comes with patterns, so it doesn't mean if you're smart or not. So when he had said that to me, I thought about it, and I realized that you told me that when you took the test, you didn't say like this, but when you said it, it made me think of like if I were to take a first grade math test, you really didn't need to try.
Yeah. I meditated on, I'm going to do really awesome on this and blow his mind.
Yeah.
And I did. And he said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Just don't tell anybody about it. Well, that's a coward thing to say from a big, fat, rosacea-faced doctor who I love. But I'm saying he's a doctor. I don't care if it's a psychiatrist or a physician of any sort. If you're a doctor and you're treating people for any symptoms of health, and you are fat and overweight, think about how much of a hypocrite you're being. And don't take it as an insult. Take it as like me inspiring you to help yourself.
Yeah, think of it as more of outside. What's the word? Like when someone's
It's your higher self through me saying, "Dude, get your head out of your ass." Seriously.
Yeah. I mean, you have a nasty stain on your shirt. You'd want someone to tell you, or would you be offended?
If I have a booger hanging on my nose, tell me.
Yeah.
I don't want it there. But you know what? It doesn't offend me. If you don't tell me and you think something funny about it, I'm like, you didn't tell me. I couldn't get rid of it. So look at it all you want, man. You look at it like, I'm not embarrassed to do anything because I am the truth. And when you feel that you are the truth, and you know what that means, not like someone who goes, I'm the truth, nigga. I'm blasting motherfuckers. That's not the truth. You're a joke. You're a joker. You're just another kinetic energy reoccurring. Joker. But another, well, that's A plus N equals O. And you can just say just other or just ongoing. But at the same time, when you say just another, that means male and female. The first A and the first of the second half, N. That's why Ann is a female name. That's why Dan is a male name. And Danielle, you add another L and another E. It's just, that's the way things work. It's math, and there's never been anything but math. And there was Danielle Young and Dan Alexander, but she had a Y in her name, not a Z, so she actually wasn't the one for me. But Dan felt like it was, because he was supposed to pick her up like that Dirty Dancing scene in shape of Z with their bodies, standing on the ground with him and her doing the, I had the time of my life. And I even felt that shit when I was a kid, but I didn't understand it because my parents talked it out of me, not their fault. The world talked it out of them. All right, that's it. Peace.